Hello, Alex.
Hello, Emerson.
How are you doing?
Yeah, good.
Good.
Good. How are you?
I'm good. So tell me the story.
I've I've heard you say that so many times. It's funny. Yeah, what is the story, man?
Yeah, what is the story? What's even
That
a
is a
story?
powerful question. Yeah, I think yeah, seeking is my story just
Yeah.
through suffering.
Hmm.
Um, I guess through suffering, I became more aware of like what is.
Hmm.
Sorry, bear with me.
No worries.
Um, I was in the military for 10 years
Okay. Oh, well.
and I was discharged with PTSD from tours of Afghanistan um, through their drug addiction, alcoholism,
Hmm.
and just arrived basically in somewhere when I was meditating one time and I arrived somewhere and things looked different when I
Hmm.
came out of the meditation and it challenged my view on reality.
Hmm.
And from there, then I was like, wow, there's something more to this.
Yeah.
More to There was more to it than I originally thought. Yeah, and more recently, I'm a trainee psychotherapist. Um,
Okay. I've been talking to a lot of, therapists, coaches, psychologists, psychiatrists. But yeah, that's awesome.
yeah, worked with a lot of like plant medicines
Hmm.
on my journey, and even that feels like seeking now.
Yeah.
Like as if it's you do so much plant medicine, you become something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it's challenged my next.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but so I had a conversation with Cecile.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Cecile told me.
yeah, man, and I just like my head just fell off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just ended up nowhere, and I couldn't grab onto anything,
Yeah.
and it felt quite destabilizing.
Yeah.
And I think I've been having like mood swings and different things for the past couple of weeks,
Yeah.
and things have been challenging in a sense of like, okay, why am I psychotherapist?
Yeah.
Why am I involved in healing practices? Why am I
Hmm.
helping people with plant medicines? Um, Really, a lot of ruminating in like the why.
Yeah. So what's between
I,
why and why not? Try to go there directly. See.
yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
Because the
Fascinating.
right, the mind is trying to find an exit or like an entrance or an exit, basically, right? Trying to
Yeah.
beginnings or endings. It tries to go into that finite mode, right? So the factory setting of what is infinite.
Mm.
And there's
Oh,
this viral sensation called the mind or the character or the me or the self. And it can only go from here to here, right? So if you
yeah,
go in between, kind of like, with Cecil, right? Um, you can't it cuts off the legs of movement and it
yeah,
just goes into this stillness, right? So of course when that happens, right? So even um yeah, even the idea of it takes into many guises, right? So yeah. Oh, the cat.
yeah. It's trying to come and say hi. Just trying to get
Yeah,
it over.
that's okay.
It'll be like this otherwise. It's all the
That's right.
screen.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
it's like I looked somewhere that I'd
Yeah.
never looked before. and
Yeah,
ended up somewhere that I've never been.
that's right. Yeah. Well, the mind can't go there, right? So it's
Yeah,
absolutely like something that's completely fresh, right? So it's
yeah,
like yeah, Cecile's been telling me about you. You've been messaging her. And,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. She's been helping me with like my integration, if that's the right word.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Whatever
because I
word.
went, yeah, yeah. It's like a newness.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so as soon as this happened, I went straight on like the coffee train. I was like just drinking loads of coffee.
Oh,
I don't know
yeah,
why.
yeah,
It's just like,
yeah,
oh, need the stimulation.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
it feels like a control measure.
It is because it's out of control now, right? This all of a sudden, it's like a virgin island or something, like some pristine stuff they've never been to before, right? So, but you know what
Yeah.
the thing is? It's always been here.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
always
think
been
I've
this
had
way, right? It's kind of like what
I've
it
had,
says, like the default setting is the infinite, right? But you don't know what it is.
yeah.
So the mind is trying to know to try to come up with a whole bunch of different narratives of like, oh, what am I going to do with I have some people that I've talked to, like Cecile, for example, is a coach, right? I talked to her and somewhat, you know what I'm saying? See what she was able to do there was she was able to clarify things.
Mm,
It's just basically clarification of 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 dualistic ideas of seeking, right? Because
hmm
um and and I have some psychotherapists and psychiatrists and psychologists basically that has been think of it this way. You know, this is just it there's a space in between where you basically went free falling to where it's usually accessed by artists, by scientists when they have these great discoveries, right? And they
mm,
usually say that, I don't know where this song is written from. It wrote by itself, the great pop songs or whatever. And you'll hear that
yeah.
story repeated over and over again. Or like Einstein, for example, when he came up with the theories, right? So he didn't know where it came from. He admits saying that in one of his stuff. And then there's like athletes that hits that impossible shot or something, or that
Mm,
impossible goal, right?
yeah.
So what if this place is permanent? It's not even a place. Yeah. So of course, the mind that has been pretending to be in charge of things goes into a panic mode.
Mm, yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes it's euphoric, sometimes it's kind of like but it's like kicking you off and you know jumping off an airplane and going skydiving, and then you realize you don't have a parachute, but also you don't have a landing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's correct.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
freedom from all the ideas of freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's taken like the seriousness out of a lot of things that I used to
Yeah.
focus on.
Yeah.
And I think like I used to see things through such a serious lens.
Yeah.
And now it's like, boom. I'm like,
Why do you think I laugh all
wow.
the time?
Yeah. Yes.
Right now, it's just
Mad.
like, yeah,
It's the medicine. Laughter is the medicine that
yeah,
I need.
yeah, yeah,
Another thing as well, I focused so much of my focus was like on abundance and
oh
like
my goodness, yeah,
welcoming scarcity, welcoming abundance. And then as soon as I ended up in free fall the next day, I was like, wow,
yeah,
they are just two words
yeah,
and I'm neither of them.
exactly, yeah,
So I'm trying to focus on one and avoid the other, but
yeah.
I'm basically avoiding nothing and focusing on nothing. Oh man.
Yeah, it's because you know what, we're so confused, right? Because I'm like, do I accept this or do I reject it? So what's in between
Yeah.
that? What's between acceptance and rejection?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think a lot of my practice is trying to be more abundant, and now it's
yeah,
gone away.
yeah.
It's dissolved. So I'm just like, oh wow. And
So
actually, when I
Yeah.
looked there, when I looked nowhere from them two places that don't exist, I actually
Yeah.
within 2 days I had a big increase in my business,
Yeah.
which was unexplainable, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. I
Yeah.
talked to someone that is in money management, right? And he said that I don't know what happened, Emerson, but there's just focus, right? And not
Mm,
even that, right? It's just something just, and again, I don't want to mystify it, making it to something mystical or whatever, but there's just
hmm.
more presence, basically, right? And then
Yeah.
Josh, I think, said to me that he's also part of that group, that he said that, oh my goodness, my sales is up, kind of thing, right? Because there's
Yeah.
more, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
presence,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. That's
yeah,
good.
whatever it is, you know, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just, again, you know what? This is the default setting. Again, this is just a story. It's the infinite, right? So you don't need scarcity or abundance. So what's between scarcity and abundance?
Yeah.
And even Cecile, when Cecile and I were talking, right? So when I was doing this thing with Cecile, and
Mm.
a lot of stuff were dropping off her too. She's like, oh my goodness, that kind of thing. But it's even in this kind of, like, like what we're talking about is, someone said that people are going to be doing this. Isn't this amazing?
Mm.
Just this simplicity.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like no
Yeah.
practice of abundance or meditation even, right? And if that's the case,
Mm.
that's okay too. But what's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah. The seriousness,
It's
kind of like what you said, it wears off, right? You're like, oh,
yeah. Yeah. I think another strand of seriousness is like perfectionism, and I think in a lot of work, especially in spiritual communities, is like this like drive to have the perfect ceremony, or have the perfect altar, or have the perfect like medicine, etc. Like, and I'm just like, wow, it's all the same basically. It's all just
it
is.
is. Yeah, it is. So it's almost like the mind is mad, and then the only sane thing is clarity, right? Because
Yeah.
the mind will just keep on doing things. And even not doing things is still the mind, the me, the character trying to figure out something. What if
Yeah.
there's nothing to figure out?
Yeah. I think it is.
Yeah,
Yeah. I've really been focusing on there's no next, and I do tend to look towards the next and think, oh, is this
yeah,
event that I've organised,
yeah,
is it going to fill up with people? And then, like recently, since I've been focused on your work, I like really don't mind if it does or doesn't. I'm just like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
well,
yeah.
it's not the end of the world, even
No,
if it,
no, no. Yeah. It's just what it is, right? It's just,
yeah,
right. It's kind of like, it's just
yeah,
being at peace with no matter what. That's basically it, right? Because
yeah,
you can have an event that's completely full, and if you're still, not content, then that doesn't even matter. If you're still
mm,
thinking about, oh, what I can, but when it's seen as just as it is, in betweenness, in the directness, then you can't go to the past or the future anyway, outside of thought. Then you know what? Then there's contentment instantly.
yeah, yes,
Yeah, it's almost like an
yes.
instant kind of like clarity, whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, everything feels better, to be honest. And it's almost as if intellectually I thought I understood what surrender was.
Yeah.
And when people had said to me before, you just need to surrender to
Yeah.
this, I don't really think I ever did understand truly or feel it,
No.
or
Yeah. Yeah.
know what that looks like, or I've never been there. I've never free falled like I did the other day.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is surrender, because there's
It
nothing
is.
to
Yeah.
hold.
It's the
There's nothing to
surrender of the
hold.
surrender.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Or I always say like freedom from freedom. It's surrender from
yeah,
surrender. Yeah.
yeah.
Because
And
there's always a doing, which is always do, which is not really surrender. I have to surrender.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember being in my college, well, my university class, thinking, "Oh, I'm more self-aware than these people."
Of course. Yeah. Yeah. How funny is that statement now, huh?
I know.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's the same, any kind of like any ideas basically, right? It's just creates kind of like a division and it misses the point that there is really no division if you really look at it, right? So, or I remember when I was like in the Eckhart, in the power of now, I'm like, oh, they're not in the now. Pity. Or then you go into the awareness
Oh.
like, oh, I'm sorry that they can't seem to abide in awareness. How sad. Or another one is like, I think there's still a me there. There's still a me. Oh, it's just arrogance, isn't it? All of that statement
Yeah.
is arrogant and it's ignorant at the same time. Yeah. But it's so funny now hearing that, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. I thought I'd arrived so many times before I'd arrived.
That's yeah. I've arrived for the past, this is my 27th arrival. And then right after, oh, this is my soul seeking number 28.
I've just been on the same platform for the whole time.
It's a joke, right? It's a joke, you know.
Yeah.
And then
The
there's going to
train
be
didn't
the
turn up.
there's going to be the gatekeepers that will be like, you're not quite there yet, as if they know what there is. Or there's still a contracted energy, or you know what,
Yeah.
you have not released enough, as if they know what they're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
So it is really like relaxing to feel
yeah, yeah.
free of missions.
Next.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
future.
Like, oh, this country will be much more better for me to work in, or I need to go to the pyramids and stand inside them and do some chanting. I need to go to India and do all this
Yeah,
stuff. It's like gone away, really.
yeah, yeah. It does save you a lot of money.
Yeah. I was like looking outside. I was like looking at, this is how literal I was thinking. I was like looking at the lamppost outside and thinking, oh, the pyramids and the lampposts are the same.
Yeah,
They're the same thing.
it is. Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah. Wow.
It's just
But
it
one's more
everything.
special,
Yeah.
apparently. Mm.
And then we have words, right? And then words beginning to fall apart for you too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
I was talking to someone, and he said, yes, yes. I mean, no, no. Because which one is yes and no again?
Oh,
Yeah.
my partner is very similar to myself, and we've
Okay.
been seeking for quite some time and been on a healing journey, if you
Oh,
call it
wow.
that.
Yeah.
Um, and then I basically replicated the dialogue to
Oh,
her,
wow.
and she ended up in the same place, man. And we both were
Isn't
just
that
like,
beautiful?
"Whoa,
Yeah.
um, why are we going to get married?" And we had this big thing like, "Oh, why
Yeah.
are we getting married?" And then I was like, "Well, it's actually something that we enjoy. Really, we
Yeah.
enjoy like ritual, we enjoy
Yeah.
ceremony, and it's about celebration. So rather than like taking all the meaning from away from it
Yeah.
because because we ended up somewhere
Yeah.
that felt like nowhere.
Yeah.
Like I know I heard you say basically, it's like if you enjoy it, then carry
Why
on.
not?
Like why
Yeah.
not? Isn't
Carry
it?
on. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that really helped
Yeah.
me. I felt that really found that really like grounding.
Yeah. Why not? Right? So
Yeah.
if somebody wants to meditate, why not? Somebody wants to eat vegan food. If you want to eat a ribeye steak, why not? Right?
Yeah.
Or what's in between why and why not?
Laughter.
And they enjoy whatever, it's just
Yeah.
enjoyment. right? It's like,
Yeah.
yeah. I used to be so caught up in what I should be and what I shouldn't be in any roles that you have, right? It's like breaking free of that role, of that thinking, or of that confidence. It's like anarchy, isn't it? So if you enjoy it,
Yeah.
have a big, fabulous fucking wedding. You know what I'm saying? Although it doesn't
Yes.
make sense. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But it's why not?
Yeah.
Have fun, right? It doesn't
Totally.
have to be
Yeah.
righteous anymore or or whatever, right? So yeah.
No.
The world doesn't make sense, but it doesn't have to.
No.
It doesn't have to, yeah.
You don't have to lose yourself in trying to
No.
understand it either.
Yeah. And I'm so glad,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm so glad that you were able to do that to your wife and go into that beautiful space of whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
someone is beginning to notice this, what's happening, what I'm doing here, and they're like, it's contagious, right? So it's changing a lot of things. I have people
It
that
is.
message me and saying that, oh my goodness, Emerson, I've been seeking for 30, 40 years or how many long. I watched like 10 of your videos and it clicked.
Mhm.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
many videos have you
Few
watched?
people. Quite a few. So I've been sent a few by like Daniel Keat
Okay.
and Cecile. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm connected to them. I speak to Daniel like
Yeah.
quite. I spoke to him today. Spoke to him
Oh,
yesterday.
nice.
We
Yeah.
like have a chit chat on a
Yeah.
daily basis. I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I met him through the community of Sedona.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did the Sedona facilitator course like maybe I don't know 6 months ago probably like
Oh, wow.
not the main one that Hale
Yeah.
does like
Yeah.
the lower down
Yeah.
one. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
this is a beautiful thing, and I'm so happy. You know what I'm saying? That it's because I've always said this, and I said there's a clarity here, but you know what? But it speaking about it muddies it with words. So
yeah,
somehow, when we go in between, there's no words, isn't it?
mm,
The clarity doesn't have any words.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And even if I wanted to challenge you in any way, there's a part of me which recognizes what you're saying,
Yeah.
and I'm like, it just is.
It's just this. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
Um,
people are suggesting, why don't you, talk to someone that, like basically have a debate. I'm like, to debate about what? All they have is ideas, right?
yeah, yeah,
Everyone just has ideas. I have no ideas.
yeah, yeah. Oh,
Yeah. It destroys the concepts, huh? It destroys any ideas.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What are we debating about? Nothing.
Words, it's like slinging like air. Here's some air.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you had a early walk in the morning and just see this without words? Isn't that
Yeah.
fantastic? You're like,
Yeah.
this has been so many years now, right? But every morning it's still like,
Yeah. It's great.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
great. It's given me a lot.
yeah,
I feel
yeah,
it's given me what was already there, but now I can see it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying not to correct myself when I'm saying things, but I'm just like, it's just language. It doesn't
It's
really
just
matter what I
language.
say.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't matter. It doesn't
Doesn't
matter.
matter.
There's just so much seriousness about language, right? It kind of like
Yeah.
it's just and it's all made up. Everything is made
Yeah.
up. And it's all the same, but it's all made
Yeah.
up, right? It's
Yeah.
like so there's no more contradictions, right? Because you know what, when you're listening to a lot of these teachings or whatever, right? It's very contradictory, but we don't question it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking about this, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So anything that I think about what is,
Yeah.
like how it was born, how it is,
Yeah.
what it's made of, is
Yeah.
basically an idea which is
It
beyond.
is.
It's beyond it. It's beyond
Yeah.
what can be thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's beyond
Okay.
beyond.
Yeah.
And it's just a
Because
word. Even
apart.
the word beyond is a word, right? So
Yeah.
it's
Because a
it's
part of me was like, who's animate, what's animating
That's right.
this
Yeah.
like landscape.
Yeah. Because
Yeah,
it's awesome, right? You're like, how is this even
yeah,
happening? Right? It's like, how? You know?
yeah, it's great.
Yeah. But you know what? There's really no answers because it just leads to more ideas.
Yeah, there's no answers.
Yeah. You can't get out of the ideas, right? The ideas, what's in between the ideas, and then it's just awe.
Yeah,
It's empty,
and
right? It's clear.
I'm seeking again, and I by looking for a meaning of
Oh
what is
yeah,
in
yeah.
front of me.
And that's okay,
Yeah,
right? But when you see that any words that will come up is trying to get to the next or the future, it doesn't matter what the context is, right? It's just trying to go to the next, right? So when you say no next, it just cuts off the story.
yeah,
There's no past. It doesn't, and that's
yeah,
okay. It's okay. But there's almost going to be an instantaneous of catching there. You're like, oh, wow. It's relentless.
yeah.
Kind of like what Einstein said, right? The reality is an illusion, but a very persistent one. Alex is an
So,
illusion, but a very persistent one. Alex will do this and that. But yeah,
yeah.
it's quite fascinating.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see how my studies continue because I'm listening to a lot of like psychology, philosophy, and different things like schools of thought,
Yeah. Oh yeah,
schools
yeah.
of illusion,
Yeah.
schools of illusion.
It's just like watching like a great fictional novel or reading a fictional novel.
Yeah,
You don't have to believe in it. It's just a story,
yeah.
right? Yeah. How many
And I'm
years do you have left in your studying?
one term like that. That's 1 year basically, but it's 30 weeks long.
Yeah. Why not? Yeah.
Yeah,
If you enjoy
yeah.
it,
And
why not? Yeah.
half of that is actually working within the medical system. So working within like
Oh.
a local hospital in a psychological unit. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
uh, assisting people with medical trauma, which you know
Yeah.
it's valuable
And
service. I see that as
it
being a
is. Yeah, it
service.
is. Yeah.
Yeah,
It is. Like
yeah,
it's like, you know what? Nothing makes sense, but you know what? But for some odd reason, and this is wild, right? Because kind of like how you did this to your wife, you talked about this in between, how Cecile
yeah.
did. It's coming
Hmm.
from care, it's coming from love. He goes, hey, check this out, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And maybe in between those sessions, you can go, hey, do you want to go in between?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Totally.
What? This has been, as of today, like I've only been doing this in between, not really that long, and it's been people have been sharing it, right? So I've
Hmm.
I probably have more than a dozen now of people kind of like just, and some people that
Yeah,
are not even in the spirituality, right?
yeah.
One guy said, "Oh my goodness, Emerson, I tried this with my mom because she's always miserable, right?" And she's like, and he's like, she's like dancing around, and I've never seen her like
Wow,
that. Yeah, yeah.
wow. I love that.
Imagine if this becomes really contagious and just, yeah,
Yeah,
it goes
it's
viral.
given me a lot of it's given me a lot of ammunition for my
Yeah,
practice
yeah.
and how I perceive therapy.
Of course, yeah.
Mm,
Like imagine if someone
yeah.
is keep on thinking is anxious, and I used to have panic attacks. I don't know if you've ever had one of those, but I
Hmm.
hid it really, really well. And no one knew about it really because it was too embarrassing for me because I was a spiritual teacher before. And
Yeah.
it's been, I don't know, like more than 5 years, 6 years that I haven't had one. Not even anxiety because
Mm.
I can't seem to go to the future anymore. Yeah, I can't. How? Can you show me the future? I can't find a way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow,
Yeah, so
that's
there's no
great.
more of that, right? So it's almost like that spell has been broken, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I feel that, like for myself, even though it's not been that long, I can already
yeah,
feel it. It's
yeah,
becoming quieter and
yeah,
quieter
yeah,
and less. It's less favorable to look there and be like, "Ah, okay, I don't need
yeah,
to look there really. It's just not here
yeah,
and now."
yeah.
Mm,
And it's so easy just to kind of like just be quiet, right? Before we're always restless and trying to do something. There's a lot of quietness that happens, right? So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Noticing that. I
yeah,
think so. I was on a walk earlier with my son. I've got a 6 month old and my partner.
Oh, nice.
And I was noticing that I was felt in schedule. So like I had nothing planned for the day apart from this, really. And I was like, oh, I feel like I'm in. I said to Ella, I feel like I'm in the next. I feel like I'm like expecting my diary to be full, or like,
Yeah.
and I have to like do a little bit of letting go there and then, just to be in the now, just to be like present. I think, and that's just, I think, a new behavior that's going to come in and be like, oh, I'm looking forward. I feel a bit anxious, I think,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
feel something
Yeah.
like a doing.
Yeah. So when there's a
But if,
feeling, if you can take away the
mm-hmm.
word, if you
Yeah,
can, yeah, the- then it goes back into that like, oh,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. Because
yeah,
if it can't seem to go here, then it appears as a sensation, like a feeling of anxiety or something, right? But if you take
yeah,
away that word, what are you feeling if you can't use your thoughts?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And it just clears up right away. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Mm,
Yeah.
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 Feel a lot of clarity right now.
Yeah.
I felt nervous coming onto this call because I
Oh,
thought,
really?
oh,
What did
is
Cecile
my
tell
like?
you about me?
I think it's because as soon as I ended up in nowhere with nothing, I, it took me like a few days to think,
Yeah.
what, what?
What? Yeah.
I felt like in a psychosis almost.
Yeah.
And obviously, just the word psychosis means that you don't have an anchor in your reality. Like you
Yeah.
can't ground yourself. You don't know
Yeah.
maybe what's left or right
Yeah.
anymore. It's questionable.
Yeah.
And I felt like a little bit of that, but in a healthy way.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. You
I was
can't
like,
find
oh
yourself.
wow,
That's the same thing that happened to me. It's like I can't find my thoughts. Like
yeah,
what happened to my thoughts?
yeah,
Where are my beliefs? Right? Oh my goodness. And I'm like, I can't find Emerson. Where's Emerson?
yeah,
It's so empty almost, right? It's almost like
yeah,
an echo there, right? You're like an echo chamber. Echo, echo. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
that's great. Yeah, it's all different for everyone, right? So some people,
yeah,
it's like some people, one person, what we did a one-on-one. We did 3 sessions and he goes, maybe this is not gonna happen to me. I don't know. Right. And then 5 days later, he calls me up and he goes, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. He goes, it did
yes,
happen, but did not happen. He goes, I can't explain it. I can't explain
mm.
it. But I'm like, so what's happening? He goes, I've been walking and walking and walking. Right. He goes, and just smiling, and I might look psychotic and everything, right? And I'm like, I've never seen you smile. And he goes, okay, we'll go to Zoom and you'll see me smile. And he just had this smile.
Yes, yeah, that's
Yeah,
great.
yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he goes, please don't post that video. So yeah, tell me about your 2-day thing. So it was just,
So actually I'll disclose with you why I had the call initially. So I
yeah.
reached out in the Sedona group because I was having some issues with my stepson,
Oh,
and
okay.
like we were clashing,
Yeah,
um, and I was like, part of me loves him and wants to
yeah,
love him even more,
yeah,
and a part of me disliked the behavior that he was
yeah.
displaying.
Hmm.
So I was like, oh, I felt really conflicted.
Yeah,
So I was thinking, oh, there must be a release for this.
yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I reached out, and Cecile messaged me privately and said, like, I think I can help you. So we had a phone call, and then during that phone call, I said, like, I really feel like stuck,
Yeah,
and wanting to love and like not wanting to dislike
yeah,
Harry. And she said,
yeah,
"Oh, what's in between wanting to love and not wanting to love?" And I was like,
yeah,
looking
yeah,
around, and then I
yeah,
like felt like guilt come up,
yeah,
and then that went away, and then
yeah,
and then I felt emotional,
yeah.
and then
Oh,
They're just in free fall. And then the 2 days was basically me having thoughts. And then I was like, but they're not real though.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about the past. I was like, oh, that's not even real too.
Yeah.
Thinking about the future that was coming in. I was like, oh yeah, that's not real.
Yeah.
Um, and then I was just like, things were making me laugh. Like I
Yeah.
was just like, I was thinking about something. I was thinking about someone I don't like.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I was like, how can I not like them anymore?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, okay, yeah, this person, it's not even this thought and this person,
Yeah.
they're not even, they're no one. I'm
Yeah.
not liking,
Yeah.
I'm essentially disliking no one.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's really hard to like nobody, to dislike no one.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Or or kind of like a phantom figure, right? You're kind of like
yeah,
or a thought. That's a thought.
yeah. But this is someone that I've disliked for
A
about
long
two
time.
years, I
Oh,
think.
wow, that's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's not really, it's not like a strong dislike where I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
can't
But
stand
it
that
was just
person.
like
It's
I
like
just don't like him.
something.
It's just something that you
Yeah,
believed, right?
yeah,
And then when
totally.
that belief can like fell apart, you're like, do I like him or not like him?
Yeah,
And it doesn't make
it just
sense, right?
became nothing. It
Yeah.
became nothing. And
Yeah.
this dislike is something I've done a
Yeah.
lot of releasing on, trying to unpick it, untangle
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And
And I always say
it didn't
this,
seem
right?
to click.
When you and I meet in between, we both dissolve,
yeah,
right? Because we just
yeah,
think we're a polarity. We think that, we dislike or whatever, right? But it's just beyond the grasp of thinking.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I've been stuck in the A and B thinking, black
Yeah.
and white
It's
thinking.
it's just this and this, right? How do I
Yeah,
get to here, right? So
yeah,
a lot of the methods are trying to go to the next, right? But
mm,
when you crash, you know what I'm saying? The
mm.
the opposites, then there is something so unknown, yet familiar
yeah, yeah. yeah. Even when
simultaneously.
I
It doesn't
bring
make
this
sense.
person, yeah, even when I
Yeah.
bring this person into mind, I'm like, there's nothing there, man.
Yeah.
I just laughing. You're just a person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
It's just a name.
Yeah.
You can't even
And
think of it, right? It's just unthinkable.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I got into the coffee.
Yeah.
After a few days, I felt a lot of grief, actually, to be honest. Like, if I could
Yeah.
call it that,
Yeah. Yeah.
it
A
was
lot of
like two
people,
days.
yeah, also had the grief of all of your ambitions. But go ahead, sorry. Yeah, I'll let you express it.
No, no, no. I like really resonate with what you just saying. Like, it was like loads of things flying away and coming in, and just like
Yeah.
big whirlwind. Mm,
Wow. Yeah. You're also
yeah.
almost even grieving a person that you think you know, which is you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I call it like
Yeah.
sometimes I call like I'm like at one point I'm like, oh my goodness, Emerson's dead. He's just a thought. He's dead.
Mm,
He's not really here. Where is he?
yeah.
Just like with Alex, right? So um it's it's unthinkable.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing is just completely impossible, right? It's like, sometimes I look at it, it's like pixels, like like in a TV, and I can't make any of it, right? What am I really looking at?
Yeah.
What are you looking at
Yeah.
without words, Alex?
Yeah. Just pure, just like complete clarity.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah. It's the clarity without words.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
When you were just speaking there, I just had a thought about, I remember, well, I've read the Yogananda book, and
Oh yeah, yeah.
I was going to get like a Kriya Yoga initiation in
Oh
London,
yeah,
in the
yeah,
UK.
yeah, yeah.
And I
Oh,
thought, that's
yeah.
enlightenment.
Cecile gave me this
Oh, is that
because
from
I
Kriya
always made
Yoga?
I'm always made fun of because I'm like I'm allergic to anything spiritual now because but you know what? It's okay. It's fashionable. It's
Yeah. I
I like it now.
I've even got one on.
Yeah, yeah, I like it. I like it. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, go ahead. Go ahead. I interrupted your story.
Oh, man, it's cool. It's like it's funny the prayer beads, isn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Chanting beads.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
doesn't
it's
mean
funny.
anything anymore, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But go ahead. You said you were reading a book of Yogananda and you were going to get
yeah.
an activation.
Yeah, but I didn't do it. Like, it's not something that's on the radar anymore. It just
Yeah.
doesn't seem like it's it's become meaningless really to me. Yeah, in the most respectful of ways to anyone who does Kriya yoga.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Everything becomes the same, right?
yeah,
It's like, like kind of like what I always say, right? Like when disappeared, I was just looking around. I'm like, everything is in its right place. Even the
yes.
dust, right? Even the and do you know that radio song, Everything in its Right Place? Everything in its right place.
I'm not
Play it,
sure,
play
but
it, play it. I don't know if you
yeah,
like Radiohead, but have you heard of that band?
yeah,
You,
yeah, yeah. I have,
yeah, they have
I
this song
have,
called
yeah.
Everything and How to Disappear Completely. It's good songs, with
I listen
this.
to it. I listen to it.
I should make a playlist that when when there's this snap, and it's
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
kind of like what I say, right? It's like jumping off an airplane and
Mm,
realizing that there's no parachute, but since
yeah.
there's no landing, but it's not free falling. It's almost like a floating free falling, right?
Mm,
Because it's not like it's just like because there's no gravity.
yeah,
Yeah,
totally, man.
yeah.
It's great.
Isn't it great? It's like what a relief, right? What a relief that there's no I can't even say it. So
Yeah,
sometimes it just blacks out, right? It's like
yeah.
blacking out.
It's just great thinking. Oh, I don't need to think about what to say next. I can just allow things to happen.
Yeah,
Everything is happening, whether I allow it or not, really. So
yeah, totally, yeah. And you know what's funny, right? You didn't really have much background on non-duality, right? Or did you?
no, not really. No,
Not really. Wow.
no, more Sedona work, really.
Yeah. More method
Yeah,
work, right? More releasing emotions and that kind of stuff and
process,
manifestation.
process
Yeah.
based. Yeah,
Yeah.
which reminds me of psychotherapy work. It's all process based. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
talking about the self
Yeah.
continuously.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And again, it just
and that's
reinforces the self, right? So, there's this
yeah,
method, of being aware, that's the self. And then even listening to kind of like no self, that's also a self. And everything is
yeah,
self-focused, right?
yeah, yeah,
Going to meetings, going to retreats, it's all self,
yeah,
reinforcement basically, right? And
yeah.
it's quite a trick, right? It's quite a brilliant trick because it goes from one side to side. See, it's as if you can't really catch it, right?
Hmm.
It appears as division. So it appears as both dualities. But if you kind of like, unveil it, it's really nothing.
Mm. Yeah,
But you just think it's something because it's moving, right? Kind of like thinking back and forth. But it's really
yeah,
not even nothing. Not even it just goes blank. It's like a
yeah,
blackout.
yeah.
It's funny,
What you
right?
said
Because
there just provoked nothing in me. It was so succinct. What you said, nothing arose. It was like, yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
correct.
yeah.
Yeah.
Blackout gang. And the funniest thing is you black out from sobriety, not the intoxication of words and concepts and ideas and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
it is.
Yeah.
Isn't this the best dream job ever? Like, this is what I do, right? I just
Yeah,
laugh with
man.
people. Yeah,
It's great. I love how there's like no sort of aim really.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? It's just like flowing and it's like
yeah,
water.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love your accent, Alex. Which part of is it an English accent?
So I'm from Wales
Oh, that's why. It's
and I'm from
beautiful.
thanks man. I think the Welsh accent recently has been voted the most relaxing accent actually from
Yeah.
the UK.
You're going to
Um,
be a perfect psychotherapist there, you know? And then when you go in between, people will be like, what the hell happened there?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And for
What I like
anyone,
about this is it's not a concept, it's not a religion, it's not non-duality even, right? It's
mm,
just an availability just to, just to go in between, that quietness.
yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful man. And just for clarity, I'm from the south of Wales, and like because the Welsh accent is very different depending where
Oh,
you are.
okay.
Um, so like the north of Wales is very, very much
Yeah.
stronger than the south of Wales.
Yeah.
They speak a lot of the indigenous, like the native language up there, which is Welsh
Oh,
language. It's like a Celtic language, but I don't
okay.
speak that. I
Okay.
was brought up like in English schooling
Yeah.
system.
It's a
Yeah,
beautiful accent. I love my accent too. I have a bit of
yeah,
a slight, I grew up in the Philippines, right? So I can
hmm,
speak my language, my Philip Tagalog and Waray and another dialect. But it's so funny because I've been here most of my life now in Canada. I'm 52. So
yeah,
there's a slight hint of that accent,
mm,
a Filipino
yeah,
accent, right? So
yeah,
and
yeah,
and I enjoy it. It's like
yeah.
yeah. I used to hate it because, I didn't want people to think that I just came here as an immigrant, right? But
Right.
now it's funny. Have you noticed this that it's almost like you're hearing yourself for the first time when you're talking because you're not in your head. So there's almost like this sound box coming out of your mouth, right? And there's no
Yeah,
thinking. I'm like, oh, that's a really great accent, you know?
yeah, yeah. It's interesting you say that because my partner said to me that after the 2 days of like,
Yeah.
she said my voice changed in some way, but I don't
Yeah.
know how that is. And she
Yeah.
said that I looked slightly younger in some way.
Oh, wow.
Um, yeah, she was like as if like you changed.
Oh, wow.
You shifted so much that
Yeah.
even your voice changed and
Yeah.
your like appearance become a
Yeah.
little bit more youthful. I was
Yeah.
like, oh wow, that's fascinating.
That's fascinating. Who needs plastic
Yeah,
surgery when you can go into the isness?
yeah, you could just let go and just like transform.
Yeah. People actually told me
Yeah,
that I look younger than my old, like my 4 or 5 year ago pictures. So
wow.
yeah. And again, it's just a story again, right? It's not something.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. But yeah,
yeah.
I feel
I
youthful. You feel youthful?
yeah. Yes, yeah, I feel very much youthful. Yeah, and it's funny when you said your age. I thought to myself, "Oh, I'm glad that I've arrived at this point, being 34." And then I was like, "That's another story."
Yeah, that's just another story.
As if there's some
It's just
advantage to this,
yeah,
like
yeah,
being young and being
yeah.
like
Oh,
nowhere.
totally. Well, I talked to, um I talked to someone that was like, just a couple of days ago that's like 18.
Oh wow.
Yeah. He's been interested in enlightenment since he goes, I've been interested in trying copies was I've been interested in enlightenment so now since I was like 16, bro. You know? And I'm like, and how old are you now? I'm like 18. I'm like, oh, great 2 years.
Yes,
For him is like
great.
the longest time, right? He goes, it's been a long time since I've been interested in enlightenment and it hit him like a big slap, right? And
Great.
I'm like, damn it. And like imagine to be 18 and to have that clarity, right? It's like,
Yeah.
wow. But again, it doesn't matter, right? Here we are. Here we are. Here we are. And here it
Mm.
is. It's like, you know what? It's like arriving, but not arriving at the same time. If you want to talk about arrival, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think that's the most beautiful arrival ever.
totally. Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's allowed me to what I am actually going to focus on is switching the work I do from so for example, say now I wanted to do a psychedelic retreat in the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah.
Actually going to switch it and do a more body focused retreat.
Yeah.
So like maybe doing like a cleanse for the body,
Yeah.
like doing like yoga for the body, like
Yeah.
focusing actually, because if I'm doing psychedelic work for my own personal sort of practice,
Yeah.
then I know that I'm seeking something in there basically. So
Yeah.
I really have to sit down and be like, okay, so what is it? What do you want from this?
Yeah.
Like, are you looking for something in there? Or do you love the ceremonial aspect to this work?
Yeah.
Do you love the connections that you make when you're doing this work? Because there's other people involved.
Yeah.
Um, and just that negotiation, I think, is something that I can enter as and when. But it's been looking actually today. I'm like, oh, actually, this is the retreat that I
Yeah.
put off to do mind based work.
Yeah.
But actually, I can do body based work now, and I
Yeah.
can do some detoxes.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I wish I was there because I like like body detoxing and everything. But you know what's great
Yeah.
about this is it's not a belief system. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like like you don't have to adhere into anything that I do or Cecile does, right? Because it's
Yeah.
freedom, right? So you don't have to
Totally.
become kind of like like a traditional non-duality that you would have to go
Mm.
to, like you would have to go into abiding into awareness or whatever. Or you don't have to be like this radical non-duality that will keep on saying for no one, there's no one, because that's a belief system, right?
Yeah.
So it just becomes this freedom from all ideas of freedom. So really, chop wood, carry water after, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know what? But you're not worrying about chopping wood or carrying water anymore. It just happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like the retreat you're doing, right? It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be part of the theatrics, man. I am really like I'm
Yeah,
joining
yeah.
in.
Why not? Why not? You know what I'm saying? And if you have someone that has clarity like you do now, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So much, so good. Every aspect of the theater needs some clarity.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good to be in
Totally,
the
man.
theatrics sometimes too.
Yeah.
I
I'm
like
just
I
looking
like
at.
I like DJing and just having such beautiful clarity that
Mm,
it doesn't matter if what my audience is, you know what I'm saying? It's beautiful. Yeah.
yeah, man. I DJ'd for a number of years. Like, I'd say probably about. I thought I started DJing when I was like 23,
Oh wow.
probably. But yeah, I've DJed Ibiza once
Oh
actually
wow.
for Zoo Project,
Yeah.
which is cool, man. Um, Played like a couple of
We'll do
English
a back
clubs
to
in the
back
UK.
soon, man. We'll do a back to
Yeah,
back soon.
I'm like, yeah, do you like techno?
I like techno too, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been listening to Maran. I don't know if you're aware of who he is.
No, no.
No, no.
I'm more into the house, more into the bass house, progressive house
Nice.
kind of like scene, right? But I do like techno.
Yeah.
It's so hard. There's so much good music coming out every day. Isn't it wild? The
Yeah, it's
abundance
great,
of
man.
like music, right? So I have a Beatport account and I'm like, what the hell? There's just like, the top 10 keeps on changing. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I think because of the COVID thing, right? There's a lot of creators that came out, from
Mm,
that people that became kind of like bedroom producers, right? And all of a sudden there's this, and then they have emerged as this great ones. It's just
yeah.
fascinating. It's fascinating.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I
with
think
this,
music is coming back
yeah, music is coming back.
for
It's
me.
beautiful. Oh, good. That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Send me
It's
send me a mix soon, man. And whereabouts in
yeah,
UK are you?
Wales,
Wales.
Swansea,
Okay.
near Swansea.
Oh, Swansea. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Do you ever come to Canada?
So I actually worked in Canada for about 6 to 8 months before when I was in
Oh,
Medicine Hat near
whereabouts?
Calgary.
In Calgary. Okay, okay.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
Crowfoot. This is the camp there. The Canadian camp, the military camp there. It was where
Okay.
it's called Bathurst. It's like a British Army training unit, Suffield.
Okay. Okay.
Um, it's where basically we used to use that area because they can fire live munitions from tanks.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
a big
wow.
space.
Yeah.
So we just partnered with the Canadian forces over there. So it's like living over there for a while. I love Canada, to be fair. It's like really nice, man. I like it. Like I like the season. I like it. They can do everything there, like in the season.
What did you do in the military?
So I had two different roles. So I was a communication expert, and I worked in a bomb disposal unit doing electronic warfare
Oh, wow.
countermeasure. Yeah. So like my first
Wow.
tour was mainly supporting local police and Afghan National Army, and then my second tour was supporting assault troops with
Beautiful.
like advice and guidance and protection with the electronic countermeasure
Yeah.
equipment
Yeah.
and stuff like that, and educating them basically on like warfare tactics to do with like remote control
Hmm.
IEDs, like mobile phone IEDs and stuff like that. Really, so it's like yeah, it's quite interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. It's beautiful now from military into like a body, retreats and everything to help the body to um into a psychotherapist and everything in between. There's clarity now, right?
Mm. Yeah.
Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, man. I feel really unaffected by anything that I've
Yeah.
experienced in my past.
Yeah. And it's so
Yeah.
amazing, it's so amazing that this is yeah, I'm so happy for you, man. I'm really, really happy. Like,
Thanks, man.
it's like yeah, it's like um I'm so happy with what's happening because it's just epic, like it's like Cecile is doing this now, and then there's Tegan, all from Sedona.
Mm.
And then there's a
Yeah.
couple
Yeah.
more people that are, it's just changing a lot of things, right? So I was talking to someone that was seeking for, I felt so bad for quite a while, and she told me that she went to 19 residential retreats.
Wow.
19, and she has not gone on vacations, right? So
Mm.
yeah, you know
Wow.
what I'm saying? Yeah. But you know what?
Well, I
At
know.
least at least now, I'm saying that she is in, because seeking ideas, all like all belief systems, it's all belief systems if you look at it, right?
Hmm.
It's a
Totally.
trap, right? It's a trap.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I can just say thanks, man. Thanks for your input in this reality, and it's like softened a lot of things that I wanted to do, and allowed me to focus like on my family. And I was just saying, we should just go and live in Costa Rica for a bit and just enjoy ourselves. Like this is just one big theater. Just
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
just enjoy it. Let's
Yeah.
go and live our best life.
Yeah. Well, right now, you know
Yeah.
what, in the theater, right? This is taking care of my mom, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And but yeah, we'll meet in Costa Rica. Maybe we'll all go there. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Totally.
Are you in Costa Rica right now?
No, but it's like it's somewhere that I really feel like called to
Yeah.
visit for some
Yeah.
time
Why not
frame. Yeah.
live under
Yeah.
the sun, saying enjoy, right? You know what?
Yeah.
For me, there's a lot of contentment here because especially that this is beginning just to happen. All of this
Hmm.
beautiful. It's almost like an evolution of something. Someone was calling it,
Yeah.
right? Something that has zapping and everything, right? Because it took years and years for people to see this in practices, and then when you go to another system, it's almost like a lottery. It's rare, you know what I'm saying, that it doesn't even happen. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm grateful for you, man. I'm just gonna stop the recording, but thank you so much. Um,
Thanks, man.